Today we are going to edit an SVG using our web browser, so let's get cracking. So real quick, this is Tinkercad. It is 100% free. I have created a Clicky Fidget tutorial and I gave you some free artwork. Now I'm going to show you how to quickly get your own and set it up so you can bring it into Tinkercad. So I am going to generate my design with Google Gemini. You can use whatever tool you want or simply search for some. When I ask it to generate a fun Easter egg design, I also tell it I want it to be black and white and clip art. After a moment we get our results. Quite often I need to change my phrase. This time they're relatively useful. The one thing I need changed is I need a gap between the outside egg line and the pattern. So I'm going to simply type this. For some reason, I always try and be polite. I tell them those are great. And then I mention that I want a gap between the artwork. So this one would work because it does have a gap most of the way, but I want a gap all the way around between the inside of the egg and the outer line of the egg shape. This is what's going to make the trick I show you in a minute work. Now, as you can see, that was a total fail. It just gave me a second line, which I don't want, so I'm going to try again. Dropping a little bit of politeness, I'm just telling them, nope, I just want the inside artwork for the eggs. I do not want the outer line of the egg shape at all. Bang! Those were the magic words, and this is how the project works. If I click on it, we get a larger view. I'm going to pick this one right here because I think it's got the coolest design, and then I'm just going to screen capture it. Selecting that little piece. As a JPEG in Snagit, I've got a button I can click and it just automatically saves. Of course, you could also do File and choose Export. This is where we bounce to PicSVG.com. It is a totally free SVG converter. Check it out. We can upload the picture. Of course, this is our brand new one, which we'll mess with in a moment, but I first want to show you this one that had a bit of an outline. When I choose Open, we get to pick from several different choices. I usually like to use internal 3. I have also found that I like the sharp one. Notice the sharp one has these outside edges, and those would be a problem in our design. So let me show you how we can erase these. If I click Clean SVG, I'm going to zoom in so I can see quite well. And then we can click on parts we don't want. Erase, erase, erase. If you don't want the little dots, zoom in and erase them as well. And I found the more you zoom in, the easier that gets. But this lets us totally clean this so that it works the way we want. I'm going to get rid of these small dots as well. When you're done, you simply hit Download SVG. I'm going to store this in my downloads. I'm going to call it Bunny2. And I'm going to save. Now we can back up to that main page. And I'm going to upload that second picture we made. Once again, I'm going to click over here and I'm going to pick the different settings. I will check internal 3. That looks all right. I'm going to also check sharp. And I think I'm going to go with internal 3 this time, but I still want to edit it. When I do this, I can just get rid of little pieces so that it's going to make this be a little bit easier for the printer. It's up to you, but it just gives us options to edit the SVGs before we actually put them to work. When you're happy, you simply hit Download SVG, and this one's going to be flowers. Before I completely leave, I do want to show you there is an undo. There is also a group selection. This lets you just touch certain parts and grab them. Notice it does grab a little bit more than you probably want. Like there's no way I wanted both of those. But it is another handy tool as you work with PicSVG. Of course, we can always bounce back to the main site just like that. And at this point, we are back in Tinkercad. You can use the bit.ly up above to complete the tutorial. I am going to quickly import our new art. Let's do choose a file. Once again, I stored those in my downloads folder. Here is Bunny2, art, and then I remember that these were about 30 millimeters on the long side, so I'm going to just type 30 right here and press enter, and choose import. Bang! We got a little bunny with an egg. How cute is that? Once again, the tutorial has a hole cut in. I can actually just simply do Control-D, Shift-Nudge to move that out, and then I can put this one on top, Let's do W for work plane, D for drop. Move it close to the location. Make sure it fits. That number turned out absolutely fantastic. If you want to make it a little bigger, I recommend you shut off the nudge and then do Alt Shift and stretch it till it's almost to the edges. Hopefully this makes it clear too why we wanted to get rid of the outside edge of that artwork. Then I set this to 0.5. I do also want to highlight the tutorial includes the steps for how to print a design face down. And just now I hit the button so we can import those flowers as well. Boom. Another fun pattern that you can add to an Easter egg. You may notice this egg down here is a little larger. Just for fun, I took our main design. So this is the blue piece, and I did Control D. And I do need to put my nudge back to 1 so we can see it move a little quicker. And once we've got this design, we can scale it however we want, and the technique still works fine. You just got to make sure you scale it before you add the walls and the other parts. Now we could simply set the height to 12 and follow the rest of the steps to make our cool clicky fidget egg with the Cali keys. You can see this one right here. I will flip it over for you, 180 degrees, and that was using the little Easter egg. How cool is that? All right, so let's wrap this up. Step 1 really was how to ask questions of your AI so you get the images you want. And then step 2 was how to take them to PicSVG and edit them using those sweet built-in tools. Of course, you will need to follow the original tutorial to be able to make the eggs, but they are a ton of fun. They print really fast, and of course, when you're done, you can sell them. Friends, I do want to quickly say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 different levels of support, starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Also, a massive shout out to everybody that supports me via Patreon. Love how that group is growing. We have way more than 300 members. It has a fantastic messaging area where you can ask questions, post designs, gain skills. Of course, you can learn more with the bit up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe, you're helping HLModTech get just a little bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.